Our principal, Mr. Yarnell, approached the staff about this project. Andy, who's in charge of Naptown Chickens, is actually a friend of ours, so that's kind of how I took on the initiative for it. There's a lot of waste in our cafeteria, as there is probably in most cafeterias, and I saw that as a great opportunity for the children to learn that taking their waste and feeding the chickens will then, in turn, produce the eggs. For our students, as many students in Indianapolis, they aren't familiar with farms and don't have much exposure to it, so it seemed like a relatively easy way to gain that exposure, give them a different learning hands-on opportunity.
Hoping the kids will see the whole cycle of the chicken, not only what they produce, the egg, but also how they can use our consumables of our extra food, as well as it's going to be a great activity for us to bring the core curriculum into our classrooms so they can see how how they're going to interact with science on a daily basis.
So tell us about this Naptown Chickens. Your goal is to put a chicken coop in every school?
I'm going to put a chicken coop at every school in Indianapolis. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but this time last year we had 0 Naptown chicken coops, okay? I'm scheduled to put 12 before the end of May, and that's balancing with a full-time job. So I only put so much time in this, but there's so much interest right now amongst teachers, amongst sponsors that think that this is creative, that it hasn't been that hard of a sell.
Yeah.
Every class will take 1 week, and during that week it is their job to feed the chickens, to collect the eggs, make sure they have water, and then they will have one integrated lesson during their week so that every class has some sort of curriculum about it during their year.
And that's K through 8?
Yes.
I organized Indianapolis' first tour day coops.
Okay.
Think Meridian Kessler home tour,
Yep.
but instead of $1 Million Homes, people toured chicken coops. It was wildly successful. Over 600 people at this thing. We didn't even have a website at the time. This was back in September of 11. Didn't have a website. We had a Facebook page, but we had more than 600 people, and it was bicycle focused. And then we raised more than $5,000. From there, I got to thinking, each coop was sponsored by a different local business. I got to thinking, if they're willing to sponsor a coop for one day, maybe they'd be willing to sponsor a coop for an entire year at a school. So I took it to one of my sponsors, actually Garrity Stone, who was the first guy I went to. I said, would you like to sponsor a coop? And he said, yeah, I'll sponsor 4 of them. And I thought, well, that was simple. I'm going to keep pitching it. And from there, it's just kind of snowballed into this. I can't keep up with it.
Chicken frenzy.
It's been a chicken frenzy, yes, very much.
They are going to be here for the festival. We actually are going to modify the cage a little bit so that it'll be a little less tamper-proof. But yes, they will be here for the festival.